What's up, guys? We are back. This is Beat the Line Broadcast, episode 40, UFC Abu Dhabi. I'm your host, Pegasus Picks. Dravhy, also here. Key, he's won enough money this year that he's on a cruise, and he paid for his whole family and everyone on a cruise. So that's what you get when you watch this podcast and you take the bets we take. You get to pay for your family's cruise. All right, Dravy, you just bought a house. So you bought a house, you bought a cruise ship, I bought a car. We all win. We always win on this podcast.
We always win, but yeah, last week we didn't though, so we need
No,
to get.
last weekend we did not win. All right, so we'll just break this down. Go quickly through this one. First fight of the night is Dumas versus Denis Tiuliulin. Dumas minus 235, Denis Tiuliulin plus 200. Drav, you go first. So, what do you think here? Do you think Dumas is actually going to shoot takedowns and try and wrestle here against Denis, or do you think this is going to be a full-on striking fight?
I'm not so sure, to be honest, because we've seen Denis struggle on the ground, and Dumas is not like the best wrestler or anything, but he does have he did improve his grappling, and he has long arms. You know, he could get a sub here. I think Denis' ground game is not good whatsoever. And on the feet, I mean, Denis can crack. You know, it's probably going to be a banger on the feet, to be honest. But Dumas is longer. He's taller. And he's just a better fighter all around, in my opinion. And he's like what he's like 8 years younger or something.
Yeah.
Denis is 36. Like, look at this man. His record's not good. It's 11-9, and he has been finished like 7 times. So yeah, I think Dumas has the higher ceiling at this point. He's more likely to improve. And his striking outside the UFC looked great. Like, he has good kicks. He's fast. He has some power. He has a good frame for the division, and he has the grappling upside here. So I understand why he's the favorite, but he's not really a guy I really want to lay big chalk on. The last time I bet on him, it was against Abu Azaitar, and even that fight was close. You know, so I think he wins the fight. I think he probably find a finish at some point, but I'm not too confident about it, to be honest. But yeah. He's what, minus 225 now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lay that price, but I think under minus 200 for him, it's decent parlay piece probably. But I don't like the current price, but I do think he win probably by finish. So maybe you look in with ITD or something if you want to bet him. But maybe I think you like the other side, right?
Yeah, I honestly, well, first off, I probably don't want to bet the fight at all, period. But if I were to bet, I'm probably taking the dog here. Doing pretty well fading this guy, Dumas. Faded him with Nursultan. I think I would fade him again here just because, you know, Denis Tiuliulin, he's a pretty good striker. You know, that's what he's a good kickboxer. It's kind of what he came up on and made his career on. Sure, he's looked lackluster lately, and, you know, he's kind of getting knocked out. His chin's not looking the best. But where he struggles is on the ground. And even if Dumas were to get him to the ground, you just look at Dumas on the ground. He doesn't really have much ground and pound. Sure, he may wrestle and get the takedown, but he does nothing from there. And I think Tiuliulin would be able to get back up. On the feet, I think Tiuliulin's, you know, the more skilled striker. I'd probably say Dumas probably has heavier hands. You know, he's a younger fighter, like you said. But he's very low volume, Dumas. So I think Tiuliulin could out-volume him. Could look like the better striker here. We could be seeing like almost like a I actually can't even compare it to that, so never mind. But yeah, no, I'd say dog or pass for me. I think Tiuliulin is plus 200 on BetOnline, so I'd probably just play him there. But I wouldn't touch this fight, to be completely honest. I don't mind unders either, but I don't know what the over/under is. What's the under?
It's line at 1.5. The under 1.5 is plus 145. The over 1.5 minus 175, and then you have fight doesn't go at minus 200.
Yeah, I see. You could bet fight under 2.5 for minus 160 as an alternate prop.
Yeah, that's decent. That's pretty decent for.
Yeah, I actually don't hate that. So that's probably how I'd play this fight.
It's just sad he's not here to defend his boy, though.
I know, right? He's not here to defend Streaky Dumbass. It's all right. It happens. I'm sure he'll be back again. Actually, he loses this fight. Who knows where he goes from here? Actually, he's coming off 2 wins before his.
Yeah, he's probably gonna have.
He'll still be staying around. He's
gonna be in prison from.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he could end up there too. So we'll see. Next fight is this is like a pretty controversial fight this week. It's Jai Herbert versus Rolando Bedoya. Jai Herbert is minus 140 now, and Rolando Bedoya is plus 120. I'll start off with this one. I played Rolando Bedoya plus 155. I wish I played him even earlier. My thought process here was, Jai Herbert, he's looked good, but he's on the older end of the spectrum now. We're talking he's 37 years old. We watched him fight Chaos Williams on short notice, and he stood and banged with him. He ate Chaos's best shots. He stood in there the whole time and made that a close fight. And then, I think now that Bedoya is actually cutting the weight, he's with that jukebox team. He's actually taking it. This is way more serious for him. I think he's at his natural weight class here. He's not going to be some, little fat boy like he was at 170. I think he's actually going to be in good shape. I think he can out volume Jai Herbert. He'll beat up his leg. And I think he should cash. I mean, if this goes to the ground, I'd probably give him the upside, but I doubt that even makes it there. I don't know. I think Rolando was the side at plus 150. I don't mind plus 120, but I don't know. I'll obviously like it better at later odds. What do you think? I know a lot of people are on Jai this week.
I think more people are on Bedoya, to be honest. Like I've seen
for sure. He's a popular dog. He's a popular dog this week.
Yeah. I see a lot of bets on Twitter for Bedoya. To be honest, I was close to bet him, but I decided to pass. I'm not too confident on the side here. It's a kind of tricky fight for me because I do like Bedoya dropping down to 155. Like you said, he's in better shape now. If you look on his Instagram, the guy has abs now.
Yeah, he's shredded.
Yeah, and he was kind of, he was chubby a little bit before. So that's good. He's taking it more seriously. He's 0-2 in the UFC. If you lose this fight, he's probably getting cut. So you have a guy who's 9 years younger and need a win to stay to stay in the UFC. And you have another guy, Jai Herbert, who's 36, got knocked out like badly a couple times already. Doesn't have the best chin. Bedoya is he has a good chin. I know it wasn't the original, but there's a fight on the original where he's getting like drop or rock, and it looks terrible there. It's the fight against, I think it's Otalora, but it was in 2021, so he did improve since then. Like you said, he looked good against Chaos. He arguably won that fight. Very tough fight. I would pick Chaos William comfortably against Herbert. And he hit his shot, but he also cracked Williams a couple times, and I think Williams has a very, very good chin. So yeah, it's like I think Bedoya is going to be the one throwing more volume. He's the younger fighter. He's the more durable fighter. But then he's very, very hittable. I think Herbert is way more technical than him. Bedoya is way more, my bad. Herbert's more technical. He's longer and he's taller, even if Bedoya is dropping down a weight class. So Herbert just doesn't throw enough for me to bet him at chalk here. But the guy is striking is actually pretty good, to be honest. It's just that he doesn't really throw much. His chin is not always good. But I was looking back into it. The guy he fought, he has the way better level of competition. The guy almost finished Topuria. Let's be real here.
Yeah, he did the head kick.
I mean, the Ludovic Klein fight, if he didn't get a point deducted, it was a win for him. And we know Klein's on a roll now. He didn't get hurt against Klein. That was a very close fight. He had grappling success a little bit. So yeah, maybe he could have a little bit grappling success here. But on the regional, when Bedoya is getting taken down, he has good get-up game. Because we see these guys at Shooterbuck sometimes they play a BJJ of their back. Maybe he's gonna do this here, but I don't really think so. And then in the clinch, I don't think Herbert's gonna have a ton of success in the clinch because he loves to fight there, but I don't think he's gonna hold Bedoya. So yeah, there's a lot of question mark on both sides. If I had to pick a money line side, I think it's the plus money, so Bedoya. But I also like the over. I think the fight go the distance, maybe a couple sketchy moments, but overall, I do think it's going to go the distance. Like I said, Herbert didn't get hurt against Klein, didn't get hurt against Ziam, who's not a power puncher. But Bedoya is not a power puncher either. He's more of a volume guy. So, yeah, I do think it goes over 2.5 or maybe a late finish for Bedoya, But I'm very torn on this fight. I think it's as close as a 50-50 you can get. So the dog's the side for me. But at the current price, it's not enough for me to bet a money line. I'm not confident, but I do like the fight overall. I'm saying a lot not to be confident on the side, but yeah, I know what's gonna happen in the fight in general. I'm not comfortable to pick a money line side, No. But I like the over better, to be honest, Peg. I think it's gonna go over 2.5 at a decent clip.
I agree. All right, next fight: Victoria Dudakova versus Sam Hughes. Victoria Dudakova, is minus 160. Sam Hughes plus 140. It's a shame we don't have our WMMA expert here for this one, especially this one is a Dudakova special for him. I have no bet on this. I've been trying to get myself to bet Sam Hughes all week. Pre-tape, I was like, oh, Dudakova may actually beat Sam Hughes. Once I actually started looking into the tape and stuff, if Sam Hughes pushes a pace, if Sam Hughes is the one who decides to wrestle, if Sam Hughes, can out-volume her, like, I think she's live. Sam Hughes might be live for a late finish if she can break Dudakova. I know Dudakova had staph last fight, but she still definitely got tired and did not look great against Jinh Yu Frey. I played Jinh Yu Frey plus 3.5, the plus 250 or plus 200 last fight. That was a great bet. I don't know. Dudakova isn't really like that impressive to me. She obviously is relatively wrestling dependent. She can strike too. I think on the feet it's relatively close. Maybe give her the slight edge, but not really. I think the boxing is much cleaner of Hughes, to be honest. But it's just like when you look at a fight like this, a low-level MMA, women's MMA fight, I feel like you always got to go with the dog. And, Sam Hughes is going to fight for your money. She's not going to get finished. She's not going to get knocked out. She's going to be there all 15 minutes, and she's going to throw higher volume. So I think Sam Hughes is definitely the side here. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't really know about this fight. I think it's a tricky one. I think Dudakova win. We also have to factor that the fight's in Abu Dhabi, and we have these fighters, these Russian and everything. They have a little bit of an advantage here. They're fighting kind of at home, and they with what we kind of know, they can they can have a better weight cut, let's say, and maybe they can cheat a little bit more. But yeah, my point is just that Dudakova is 25. She's gonna be improving. I think her grappling is pretty good. Her striking is a work in progress, but it's not bad. Sam Hughes, she's a dog. She's gonna fight for your money, like you said. That's a good point. She has good cardio. She can push a pace. But I don't really know, bro. It's very hard for me to see this fight playing out. I'm not too sure. I think Dudakova will win. She's the undefeated Russian here fighting at home. And Sam Hughes, if she's the one getting taken down, maybe she's not going to tap, but we've seen her struggle with this style of fighter. So I think Dudakova will win, but I wouldn't lay the minus 160. If the line keep dropping, though, maybe I'll get to a bet on Dudakova, but it's not really a fight I'm really passionate about. Like, I backed her last time against Jinh Yu Frey in a parlay. I catch the parlay, like I had her out minus 250, and it was sweaty against Jinh Yu Frey, who was a very small girl for the division, and also cash her KO the fight after that, the fight before that against Istela Nunes plus 800. That was nice money, but let's be honest, that was an injury, so I was lucky to cash on it. But I've done well on her fights. It's just not a fight I really want to bet, to be honest. Maybe the over, but it's so juice. So you're muted, Peg.
Yeah, I don't think there's any value on that over, to be completely honest. I think that one's kind of toast. Let's just go to our next fight. Next fight is Guram Kutateladze versus Jordan Vucenic.
Yeah, I think you got it right.
Yeah, Vucenic. He is we got Vucenic is plus 170. When's that? Let me find it. Yeah, plus 175 to plus 195. Guram is minus 200 to minus 225. You want to take this one? I mean, you guys, you were watching this star. You were kind of the one who put me onto him when we were looking into him early when the first fight, when he got rebooked because it's short notice. Although it's not really, it's short notice, but Jordan just had a full camp and just won 11 days ago. So it wasn't like he's not going to be out of shape or anything. And honestly, like, hungry dog, he's probably feeling like the man right now after coming off that win. I mean, I don't know. Guram, we've seen Guram late in fights. Round 3 never looks good for him. And this could look great for, a guy who doesn't get tired. He's up a weight class, but he doesn't get tired. That's for sure. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of this one?
It's a banger, to be honest. Really excited for this guy debut. He's a guy that has been very good in the Cage Warrior scene, and a lot of people were expecting him in the UFC a little bit sooner, but now that's kind of his time. To your point, yeah, he's fighting at 145 before, but the guy is massive for 145, Peg. Like, the guy is, for 145, he's probably one of like the biggest guy in the UFC if he fight at 145. That's a big weight cut for him, and he took a lot of mass for his 155 debut. He fought a bomb though. Don't get me wrong, but the guy's more in shape now, but not more in shape, but he's more muscular. And with what I've heard, it looked like he's going to be fighting at 155. Maybe he's going to drop down. I'm not so sure, but he's not going to be undersized here. Guram's going to be a little bit bigger, but like I said, the guy he's massive for 145, so he could be fighting at 155. But I think at 145 he has a higher ceiling. Yeah, so there's a lot to say here, but to be honest, I think that's a hard debut for him. You have to factor, the UFC debut on short notice, a step up in competition against Guram, who's pretty solid. Guram is the better striker here, and he's kind of tough to grapple. But I really like Vucenic grappling. I think it's very good. The way he take the back is nasty.
The missions are sick.
Yeah, bro, it's very, very, very cool. Yeah. And like he has a good rear naked choke. The guy wrestled pretty well also. And his striking is also pretty good. Also, like the guy is very well rounded. He has good cardio. He's a dog. He's tough because he fought Paul Hughes 2 times, right? He won the first fight, very, very close, and then the fight after that, it was a 5-round. And the first 2 rounds were close, but then he got kind of dominated. He got hurt a couple of times. He almost got finished in that fight. He was bleeding all over like a lot of blood in his face. But Paul Hughes also is a guy that is super good and should be in the UFC, a top prospect who signed to the PFL. And you look into his resume, he had some good win. He has a win over Morgan Charrier. We know him now with the UFC, right? He has a win against Paul Hughes, and then he also have a couple good win. Youssef's a good win, and there's another guy, I don't know, Rashid Az, who's pretty decent for regional. So recently he has been fighting lower level guys, so that's a step up, and Guram has been fighting high level competition. But yeah, I can get to -200 for Guram. I think it got to be dog or pass because I think he could have grappling success. I think he could find a sub here, and I'm not worried about his cardio, and I don't think Guram's going to finish him. So if I don't give too much finishing upside on the Guram side, I don't like -200. But then also Guram's is he Russian? I think he is, right?
No, he's Georgian. He's Georgian.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's Georgian. But yeah, again, he has been tested at this level, and he's gonna be the better striker. So I'm gonna lean him to win, but I think the line's a little bit wide, to be honest.
That's what I'm thinking too. And so, like hypothetically, say you got to assume Guram does get tired in round 3. He loses round 3 at a relatively high clip. So you got to say Jordan pushes a pace and gets him tired, right? Or makes this a dog fight, and Guram is tired.
But Guram doesn't always tired in round 3. Like he doesn't have terrible cardio. He got broke against Brenner, but he almost killed him 2 or 3 times. We're gonna talk about it in a couple of fights. But I don't think his cardio is bad. But yeah, I think the round 3 could be a Vucenic round. So yeah, then like I said again, it's all about numbers at the end of the day. So I think you gotta bet the dog if you want to bet anything. I also think the over 2.5 is decent. But yeah, I think Guram will win, but it's a good fight. Very high level shit here.
Yeah, I played Vucenic when the line just dropped. I'm bet online for +230. I'm happy with that number. That's 2 and change, so I'm cool with that. If he dies, he dies. But I don't think he'll be doing that. So as long as it's a dog fight and it's a close fight, I'm happy. Next fight after this is our we're still in prelims. It's Shamil Gaziev versus Don'Tale Mayes. Shamil Gaziev is anywhere from -205 to -230. Don'Tale Mayes anywhere from +175 to +200. So we are a Shamil Gaziev podcast. We capped him right the first over his debut. Everyone was talking about Bedoya. We played him plus what? We all got plus around 130, somewhere around there.
I got plus 160. I don't remember what you got, but I got 2 units plus 160, and then live bet Rosenstruck in the second fight. But I lost on the under 1.5 in the Rosenstruck fight. But yeah,
I played Rosenstruck early and doubled down on him live. Just so we're looking 3-0 against him. This is another one of those fights where I don't know. He's getting a big price tag. It's a big step down in competition for him, but I don't know if you can I'm not super thrilled about it because, like, we kind of watched him in that Rosenstruck fight, in the Bedoya fight. His wrestling, although once he gets to the ground, he's aggressive. Sometimes his takedowns kind of suck. And Dontel Mays, although he's a big big guy, kind of sloppy at times, he can grapple. So if Gaziev can't get him to the ground and stays on the feet, I think this fight becomes much more interesting. Although this is Shamil Gaziev, like, back in his home turf on his home stage in a get right spot. I kind of feel like he's live to finish on the ground. If he gets it there, he's probably live to submit him or ground and pound him. On the feet, he could find, both guys can find a knockout. It is heavyweight, but I don't know. I feel like you probably got to, they obviously want Shamil Gaziev to win this fight. It's pretty obvious what the UFC is trying to set up here. So I'll probably lean Gaziev. I'll probably lean Gaziev here. I'll probably play him money line. I'd put it in a parlay, but I wouldn't play it too heavily. What do you think?
Yeah, it happens often, when we have a big step up in competition, like someone's not ready. You went from Martin Buday to Rosenstruck, so that's like no shame in that, to be honest. Like,
No.
When we look at it, like Rosenstruck would smoke Dontan Mays. It was
for sure.
Really close, but it's just it's really hard for me to not see Gaziev having wrestling grappling success here. And with that being said, if he does have grappling wrestling success, he's going to win at least 1 or 2 rounds with that, or his life to finish Mays. And on the feet, Mays probably a little bit of a better striker, but Gaziev can crack on the feet and he has good pressure. And the fact that Mays is going to be worried about the takedowns may open Gaziev striking a little bit more. And I don't like Mays, to be honest. Like, he's, like you said, that's a good point. That's a massive step down in competition. You went from big step up to a massive step down. So the price is not, we're not getting a good price, but yeah, I think there's some good props if you want to play him. But I do think he find a finish at some point here. He has more finishing upside. He has wrestling, grappling upside. And,
do you think it's ground and pound, or do you think it's sub? What do you think? Like,
it's hard to know because I think he could TKO him on the feet. I think he could clip Mays on the feet, but more often than not, it's if you get a KO, it's probably ground and pound, like you said. But I also think a sub could happen. Mays is not a good grappler defensively.
No, and Mays is okay to check out too. Like, you'll see him, like, if he starts getting hit hard or if he's getting out grappled, he'll quit. He'll give up his back or whatever it is. He'll find the door if you give it to him. So I don't know. I agree with that, but should be a bounce back spot for him. Next fight, Muhammad Yahya versus, I think it's Kui Fernandes, right? That's how you pronounce that.
I'm not sure about this one, Peg, to be honest.
I believe it's Kui. I think it's Kui Fernandes. Yeah, we'll go by Fernandes. So Yahya is plus 300 to plus 260. Fernandes anywhere from minus 380 to minus 400. I'll be honest. I could go quickly here. I'm not going to get too big in depth. I think Fernandes could finish him on the feet, could finish him by sub, could finish him any way he wants. Could also win a decision if it goes there. I don't think Yahya belongs in the UFC. When they gave him Trevor Peek was like a come to the UFC, and like Trevor Peek obviously throws hammer fists as jabs. So like he's not the most technical guy. Like, hey, if you're supposed to be here, you probably could beat up Trevor Peek or get it close. He lost to Trevor Peek. So, and Trevor Peek is honestly, he's at a good camp now. He's doing the right thing. He will be good. And he's got that dog in him. But I don't know. I think this is just a very bad matchup for him. I'm not sure what their thought process was doing Fernandes versus Yahya in Abu Dhabi. I think honestly, Fernandes is probably going to find a finish here. I just don't know what they're thinking because this is this guy's home turf where he's got a lot of his fights, and I don't think he wins this one. I don't even see a path to victory, to be completely honest. What do you think?
Yeah, it's bad. Like, I can't really tell you what he's good at, to be honest. I don't think he should be in the UFC. And Fernandes, I think he's pretty good. Like, I bet on him against ZKC in his debut. He was a pretty decent-sized dog, and he arguably won that fight. He was very close. Plus 160 was a good bet. And ZKC is not an easy guy to fight for UFC debut. Now, again, that's a step down in competition. Yahya is just not good, and Fernandes is better. Let's just put it that way. He could win by KO decision or sub. He has multiple paths to victory, but I do think he find a finish at some point. It's just hard for me to know if it's gonna be sub or KO. That's kind of where I'm struggling a little bit. I don't like the money line price, minus 400. I don't. Yeah, you should dominate, but I don't like the current price. So I think you should maybe inside a distance if you want to bet him. But I kind of think you need minus 110 or better to get on that.
Yeah, they haven't given it out yet on prelims on FanDuel. I think we got minus 125 on BetOnline when it dropped. So FanDuel may give us minus 110 for inside the distance. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out for that. Next fight here is Alonzo Menifield versus Azamat Murzakanov. These guys is 205. The odds on these two, we have Menifield plus 167 to plus 175. We got Murzakanov anywhere from minus 192 to minus 225. So there's been a lot of, honestly, I was working all day today. It seems like there's been a lot of line movement. A lot of lines are starting to come back. I think this is an Azamat Murzakanov fight. He's got a nuke fist for a hand. We watched him. He fought Dustin Jacoby pretty well. We saw him knock out Devin Clark. We've seen him, I'm not gonna lie, Tafwan Nachukwi almost had him, but he nuked him too. He's a knockout guy. He's got very good striking. He's like the way he finds his punches as well, and he's one of those guys that doesn't get discouraged, even if he's like I said in the Tafwan fight. Even though when he was down on the scorecards, he takes his time and he'll fight. He knows when he has to find himself to strike and knock someone out. Alonzo Menifield, on the other hand, this is the one time that I think we're going to see that this guy is going to be smaller than Alonzo Menifield. Alonzo Menifield is coming off weight. 2 months ago, he got knocked out by Carlos Ulberg, where he just ran in and just got touched on the chin. Before that, we saw him beat Jacoby in a close fight, and then there was Jimmy Crute, the Jimmy Crute submission. So I don't really know. I would lead. I think I played Azamat Murzakanov at minus 175 in a parlay with Mick Parkin, the GOAT of MMA. But I think he's still the side here too. I think Menifield's coming back way too early. If he tries to grapple, it probably would be some upside there for him, but I doubt he tries to wrestle. I think we just see him try and strike with Pat Barry telling him to, throw the strike again, throw the jab again, throw the jab again, and then he's going to get touched on the chin and get put out. What do you think?
Yeah, again, another undefeated Russian here fighting at home against a guy in the US coming here, traveling. Yeah, I really like Azamat striking, to be honest. He's very technical. He's fast. He has power. He has decent wrestling. The only thing I don't like about him is his cardio is kind of shaky. He's slowed down in round 3 against Jacoby. Jacoby, bad fight IQ, tried to wrestle him in round 3. That was, I don't know what he was thinking. And they both fought Jacoby, right?
Yeah, they both.
Azamat beat his ass in round 1. Like, he outstrike him, he hurt him. Yeah. And then in round 2, it looked like Jacoby was taking over a little bit. It was closer, and then he hurt him and dropped him at the end of round 2. He stole the round. Round 3, very close. You can give it to Jacoby. Menifield versus Jacoby. Jacoby was beating his ass. He was too technical for him. He was too fast for him. But Jacoby's chin is not great anymore, and he was getting dropped and losing just because of that. Like, Menifield had too much power, and he was more durable than him, so he was clipping him, and that's how you won the fight. I bet Menifield there. It was like plus 230. And last fight with Menifield and Orberg, I bet the under 1.5 at like plus 150 or something. So I'm good with his fight in general. Menifield, he has power, he's strong, but the guy's striking defense is very bad. His chin is not good, and the way he rushed into punches, he's just here to get counter with a check left hook. That's what I said against the Herbert fight, and I didn't know how he would win that fight, but I was pretty confident he would get clipped early. And for this fight, it's nothing really like I think Azamat's gonna smoke him, to be honest.
I think so.
Azamat's first of all, he's more technical, but he's also way faster than him. Like, Menifield's gonna struggle to find his timing early, and then it's like, can I count on Menifield late to kind of take over? No, he doesn't have good cardio either. So Yeah, man, I think it's Azamat all day here. I think he find a knockout personally, but even if you go to distance, I think he's going to win. And I don't really think Menifield's going to have much wrestling success. I think it's going to play out on the feet for the most part, but Menifield too technical, too fast for him, and he has the power to put him out. Like I said, Menifield doesn't have a good chin, he doesn't have good striking defense, and the speed's going to be too much, and he's going to get caught with something. I think he's getting knocked out. I don't mind the under 1.5. It got smoked a little bit, but I think it's probably gonna come under 1.5. But yeah, the KO prop for Azamat's also decent. But I
was
also
gonna
like
say, what did that KO prop drop as? It dropped at
it's still the same. It's like plus 125. It's decent. But yeah, I like the money line also. Like you said, parlay piece material. Yeah, I do think
I don't mind it as a parlay piece, especially now that it's back under minus 200. I think it's definitely a parlay piece.
And again, you can go like, oh, he's inactive. That's not good. And you can go, oh, maybe he's old. But yeah, Menifield's older. He just got KO'd recently, like you said. He's coming back, traveling against going in Abu Dhabi against undefeated Russian. So I don't think it's gonna end well. I don't think it's gonna end well for him.
No, and his gym is, I believe it's called K Dojo. I think it's in Jersey, and I know like I know he hasn't been active in the octagon, but I'm pretty sure he stays pretty active at the gym. I think his K Dojo, yeah, it's in Fairfield, New Jersey.
It's the same gym I think as Yana Asmus or something. I heard that was
yes, it is the same as Yanul Ajmus. Yes, it is.
And I heard it was like the first camp of Khabib or something. Like
that's where Khabib, when he first came to America, he started there. It's a very it's an old classic Russian gym. Like that's where the Russians used to come and train. But Volkov was there at one point too.
Oh, I didn't know about Volkov, but yeah, I do think that's an Azamat spot here. Probably P scale prop if you want, under if you want. I mean, it feels live for a knockout, but I don't really think he gets it at the high clip.
No, I don't think so either. Next fight here, Joel Alvarez versus Elves Brenner. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Alvarez anywhere from minus 190 to minus 185. You can get Elves anywhere from plus 160 to plus 170. Dravhy, you go first. So let's be real. We've seen Brenner almost die multiple times in the UFC, but he tucks it out. He's a dog, and he gets out there and gets that win. What do you think? This is one of those chances where do you think Joel can actually finish him here, or it's Yoel? Do you think Yoel can actually finish him here, or do you think Brenner can dog him out and find his way to a decision? Or
that's a very good fight, man. One of the most exciting fight on the entire card. It's gonna be a banger. Both guys like finisher. They go at it. It's gonna be a fun fight. It's hard for me to pick a side on this one. Alvarez is going to be so much bigger than him. Like he's going to be taller, longer, bigger. The guy is massive for 145. It's crazy. He's also super dangerous in the striking, in the grappling. He has the long arm. He has the good front chokes and everything. Brenner, like you said, he got hurt very bad against Guram like twice. He was down 2-0 and he found a finish in round 3. He got a dog in him. And then in his last fight against, he got hurt badly, like 1 or 2 times, bad look, and he looked tired in that fight. So I think he's a KO waiting to happen, to be honest. And Alvarez, if you remember the Moises fight, he came at it, he went for the KO, he went for the kill. He has good body shot, good kicks.
His clinch is crazy too.
Yeah, man, he's pretty good. The only thing is, like the last time Alvarez went into a round 3 was a pretty long time ago, was a couple years ago. He's not a guy that used to go the distance. He's not a guy that used to go deep in round 3 in some fights. And Brenner doesn't have a good record in decision, but he's used to that, So I do think as the fight goes on, at the end of round 2 or in round 3, maybe we see a switch of momentum, and then Brenner starts to take over. But I think Alvarez is live to finish him early, and I also believe he's gonna hurt him on the feet early. And if he does, the difference between Alvarez and either Guram or Orobai is he has nasty submission, and you could club and sub him. You could get a club and sub here. So that's the first thing. And Brenner's also probably try to wrestle here. Which another thing is, Brenner's submission defense is pretty good. If you run back the Gabriel Santos fight, who's a very good fighter of his own in the UFC now, very good grappler. He didn't get submitted. He was in a couple bad spot in that fight. I think he has that dog in him, like we said, but he also has a very good submission defense. So if you wrestle here, which I think he could have success because Alvarez takedown defense is not good, Brenner could win minutes on top, and Alvarez is going to try to submit him from his back. I don't think that's going to happen. So you can, like, as the fight goes on, I favor Brenner. I think he has better cardio, more proven late, and I think he can win minute on top with the wrestling. But I think he's probably going to get hurt on the feet at some point, and maybe he can get finished. Yeah, the price for Alvarez ITD is not good enough. I know all of his wins are inside a distance, but considering Brenner has never been finished and he has that dog in him, I was expecting a better price. So I don't like that. I was liking Alvarez early price in the week, like around -120, -130. I was considering a bet, but then the line moved the other way. Now it's dog or pass for me. If you ask me what would you bet right now, I think it's Brenner +165. It's pretty decent. I'm watching the line right now. I'm not so sure if it's still going to go up. If it does, I'm probably going to be interested in Brenner. And the round 3 for him, the round 3 KO for him. Yeah, there's a couple of good ways to play him. I think he could finish Alvarez like late in the fight, end of round 2 or maybe round 3. I think he could get a knockout. And I think it's going to be close if they go the distance. But I think the early round is going to be sketchy. Alvarez super dangerous, but we kind of count on Alvarez to either play off his back or to slow down. So that's why I'm not passionate about the price right now to get involved on the Brenner side. But at the same time, Alvarez is massive, bro. Like he's massive and he's super dangerous. And Brenner get hurt a lot. So I do think Alvarez could finish him, but I also think Brenner could finish him as the fight goes on. So yeah, that's a very good fight. I'm super excited for this one. What do you think?
So, actually, it's good. So I was actually going to play Brenner. I was getting very close to playing him at +125. Then I saw a lot of narratives on Twitter. Everyone's talking about Yoel Alvarez. So I'm like, okay, maybe I wait. Line's going to move. So it slowly has moved up over time. Now the value is definitely on the Brenner side. Two things I loved about what you said was a submission defense, both in that regionals fight and even against Mektebek Oralbai. Oralbai was full top control on him and full mount everything, and he was able to defend those. Was able to defend himself from some ground and pound against, Oralbai is a big dude. So
yeah, but sorry to interrupt you, but he doesn't have the same grappling and the submission skills of Alvarez. No. He's a better wrestler. He's a better control grappler, but Alvarez's submission is nasty. That's where I'm like, if Brenner is very hurt, he could get submitted, but I don't think if he's not hurt, he's gonna get submitted.
I agree. But here's what you got to think about too. We were talking about the submission defense being so important here, especially when he tries to wrestle and gets top time. He'll get top time on Alvarez if he gets the fight to the ground and gets the takedown, because Alvarez is so happy to fall into his guard and hopefully get a submission. He'll get that top time. And you got to remember the looks he's getting. He's training with Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is 5'11". He also has a similar reach to Alvarez, and he's so much more deadly on the ground than from playing from his guard than Yoel Alvarez is. And we saw relatively recently Arman Tsarukyan versus Yoel Alvarez, and then Arman Tsarukyan versus Charles Oliveira. And how did those look with both of them playing jiu-jitsu in their guard? Charles almost finished him twice, and Yoel Alvarez got smashed a bit so bad that you couldn't. It was crazy. So I don't know.
He got an injury in that fight, though. I think in the first round, he injured his shoulder, I think, or something.
Oh, his shoulder.
Yeah, he was injured after the first round, if I'm not mistaken. What he got, like, bro? But he got smashed on the ground. That was beating. Yeah.
He's getting the looks from Ian Gary also. In the striking, he's getting Ian Gary at Jukebox now. He's getting Charles Oliveira. Like, Elvis Brenner is getting the looks that he needs, and like. And he's got that dog in him, and like almost like I said 2 weeks ago with Hyder Emil. Brenner's one of those guys that you want to play at big dogs odds, and he's starting to get there. Like he's at what I say, he's at +165. I don't mind this price. Come fight day, if it's around here, I'll probably look at my slate. If I have some extra units I want to use, I'll use it. But I could see a little bit more money coming in on Alvarez. I could see people really starting to like that, and if that's the case, like. I don't know. We get +175, +180, +185. I'll easily put a unit there on Brenner and then just see where it goes.
I agree.
Next fight, girls fight. He's not here to answer. Mackenzie Dern versus Lupita Gomez. This would be Godinez. This would be a Loopy Super Bowl for Key. Right here, Mackenzie Dern. It's still a close line. It's -120. Lupi Godinez is plus 110 to plus 100. I'll go first here just because this is one I looked into. I've been waiting on a bet on Lupi Godinez. I've been losing my chance because the line is getting closer and closer. On the feet, I think Lupi has the better striking. I think she's a sharper striker. She's got the better boxing. I do think she's very good at wrestling and getting takedowns. She is not that good at jiu-jitsu, where Dern, on the other hand, is very good at jiu-jitsu. So I think this is honestly, Lupi Godinez could be looking great early on the feet, whether with her boxing, stuff like that. But kind of like we saw with the Verna fight, shooting for a takedown, going in. Like, I could see her diving into Mackenzie Dern's guard and getting herself triangled or getting herself armbarred. Like, her IQ has just been so low, which I don't understand. Common opponent, obviously Verna. The loss against Verna aged well for Lupi, but then it aged even better for Dern because obviously Dern beat Verna. But I think kind of between the two different girls, Dern is way more well versed and has a better toolkit to beat, or tool set to beat Verna with her grappling and her BJJ pedigree. She's also about to do Craig Jones's Invitational, Mackenzie Dern, and she's fighting a girl or rolling with a girl who's very good. So I'm sure she's been training very hard on her wrestling and her jiu-jitsu. So like I'm gonna say Godinez. If I had to make a pick on the fight, I'm gonna say Godinez, but Dern's sub price is plus 250. I don't know, man. We saw her in bad positions against Verna at times. Lupita and Mackenzie Dern, she snatches it up. It'll be quick. So I don't know. I think if you play Dern, you play sub, but I'm going to lean for the sense of like being a pick show and making a pick, I'm going to pick Lupi Godinez.
Yeah, bro, to be honest, I'm probably one of the worst to bet on both of these girls. I'm terrible. So don't listen to me. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. The line is close. I don't like either side. Lupi could look like a big favorite if she wants, but you just can't trust her fight IQ. So that's the problem here. I think she's the better striker. If she just defend the takedown and stay on the feet, she win the fight. It's pretty simple, but maybe she's going to try to wrestle here because she could get takedowns easily. But when we want her to wrestle, she doesn't, and now we don't want her to wrestle, and she probably will. And on the other end is, bro, why the fuck was she playing BJJ with Verna on the ground? She was kind of exchanging leg lock with her. Like, bro, what? Or I bet on Lupi against Verna. That was a terrible bet on my end, but bro, it's like, why would you do it? Why would you do that? But yeah, Verna is the better wrestler and better control grappler than Dern, though. But Dern has the pressure. She has decent boxing. She could land a few big shots on the feet, make the fight close. And I think she has the finishing upside here. So I lean Dern here if I had to, like, gun to my head, pick a side, because she fought the better competition. She has more finishing upside. She can compete on the feet, so, and they both have bad fight IQ, but Lupi fight IQ sometimes is very bad. So, and Dern's going to be maybe she's going to be a little bit bigger also. So I lean Dern, but I think over 2.5. I think go the distance. It's probably the way to go, because the only finishing upside you have on the entire fight, it's only for one side, which is Dern, and only one way more often than not, which is sub. So with that being said, I don't think it's going to happen, first of all, and then that's why I like the over and the GTD for parlay PCs and etc. So yeah, I prefer go the distance over 2.5 than picking a side. But I think Dern will win, but don't listen to me. Godinez probably a lock.
Yeah. All right, next fight, Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chiesa. So we got the Darce Knight versus Michael Chiesa, who has lost 4 times to a Darce, or 3 times. Right now, the odds on this fight, you got Tony Ferguson plus 475 versus Chiesa, who is minus 650. This economy, inflation's high, and we're getting Michael Chiesa at minus 650.
Is that a lock?
I think it's a must play on Tony Ferguson here. I think it's a must play. And here's how I'm going to tell you exactly how to play it. So you're going to put half a unit on Tony Ferguson plus 475, and you're going to put another half a unit on Tony Ferguson's spread. I don't know what it was on Bet Online. I didn't check. I'm waiting for DraftKings because usually theirs are a little bit better. And you play it two ways. Say Tony Ferguson wins a round, you'll still profit. If he gets finished, you'll lose. And if he gets blown out, you'll lose. But if he wins by finish or wins a round, you're making profit no matter what. I mean, we're talking about a guy in Michael Chiesa who doesn't like getting hit. His striking is not very good. And he's very wrestling dependent. And although he's a submission grappler, he's getting Darce choked by Jorge Masvidal. Sure, Tony Ferguson in his last few fights, obviously he's on a 7-fight losing streak. He loses this. He breaks BJ Penn's record for most losses in a row in the UFC. Decision to Paddy Pimblett. Submission from Bobby Green looks horrible. Submission from Nate Diaz. I know you don't like that submission, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's Nate Diaz. The front kick that ruined it all with Chandler, and then the beatdown of Beneil Dariush. Obviously, he's trending downwards. It sounds like he's changed his camp. It sounds like he's sparring now. He said today in his interviews he put 120 rounds of sparring in at his Beehive gym, which is his original gym. I don't know. I like it here. I think he's going to want the win more. I think win means more here to Tony. I did not realize this is at 170, but Chase has a desk job. Chase is, I don't know. I feel like he's kind of checked out. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. I think loser leaves town here. I think one of these two has to retire. But I think we see, like we said, Chiesa loses and gets subbed to, front chokes and stuff like that. And Tony's got the best in the game. So I don't know. I'll take one last chance on Tony Ferguson. Give me one unit by half by plus 3.5, half by money line. Line's too wide. If he dies, he dies. What do you think?
Yeah, the plus 3.5 is plus 250 on Bet Online now to answer your question about it. So it's not bad, definitely, but it's just that when you bet a plus 3.5 and the guy has chances to get finished, you're kind of losing your money.
Yeah.
I prefer these bet when the fight's probably going to go the distance and you're kind of confident the guy's going to win a round. But the odds are not that great also. But yeah, you making good points. It's just there's no way I can get to a bet. I just can't get to a bet here. Like there's no way you can get on Chiesa. There's also no way for me to get on Ferguson at this point in 2024. The guy's on a 7 losing streak. But yeah, the line is wide. They're just begging us to bet Ferguson. I'm just not gonna do it. If I were to bet something there, I'm gonna bet. I would bet the under 2.5. It's plus 100. I think it's decent. I think they could both win by sub. But then if you bet fight and by sub, it's the same price as the under 2.5. So you rather take that if there's a KO. But yeah, Tony Darce is live, but it's just that Chiesa loves to put his head in bad position sometimes. So I didn't like Diaz look because he was in a guillotine and he just normally we see Tony Ferguson, he's never quitting on himself. Even the Oliveira fight, for example, even the Bobby Green fight, he went out, but then he just quick tap in that fight. I didn't like that look, but again, he got submitted by Bobby Green and went out cold. That's also a bad look, So just Chiesa's a good grappler, bro. If Chiesa get on top, you could get a sub himself. You could control him on the ground. But yeah, Ferguson's live for Darce. So Ferguson sub is decent, under 2.5 is decent if you want to play it. But I think Chiesa win minus 700. What am I saying, right? But there's no way you can bet Chiesa here. I think you either go under 2.5, you either go Tony Ferguson plus 2.5, or you go the.
But think about that. Think about your bet MMA when you can show it to your grandkids someday and show there was a time that Tony Ferguson was plus 475 and Michael Chiesa was minus 700, and I bet on Tony Ferguson because the line was just too wide. And you can tell your kids about that.
He might go on the run now. Maybe he's gonna go for the title.
Yeah.
At 170. Imagine Belal versus Ferguson. All right, next fight, bro.
Next fight is Marlon Vera versus Davison Figueiredo. Figgy is minus 145 to minus 155. Marlon Vera is plus 125 to plus 115. I'm going to let you go first. I think you gave out the free pick for this fight. You have a pretty good read on it. We both have a read on it. We both read it 2 different ways. You're more confident in yours than I am in mine. So you go ahead and you tell me What do you think about this fight? Does Figgy wrestle this whole time and actually grind out Chito Vera, or does Chito Vera put it on him?
Yeah, to be honest, I like Chito here. Free bet of the week. I gave it out plus 140, plus 154. The line moved down to plus 125 there, so at least we did our job with the line. But it's less Vera. First of all, he's going to be much bigger than Figgy. That's the first thing, and I think he has more finishing upside. I also believe that he's going to win round 3 at a high clip. If Chito always has phenomenal round 3. He's always like to finish a fight. He has a lot of knockdown, a lot of finishes I think he has the most finishes in the bantamweight history in the UFC. So that's something to, that's good. And also look at this win. He has a very good win at 135. The guy can finish people. He's impossible to finish, basically. I think if Figgy submit him, that's possible, but it's not likely, let's be honest. I don't think, the guy chin is just insane. The way he take damage and doesn't bleed or anything. And then I'm not saying Figueiredo is wash, but I think he's declining, and people are not realizing that because he had just 2 big win, and now, he's going to win title or something. I don't know, bro. But the guy is 36. He killed himself to make 125 for a long time. He doesn't have the best chin anymore. Bro, the Cody Garbrandt fight, everybody going into this fight was thinking, if he stay on the feet, he's going to crack Cody, he's going to hurt him. Cody was kind of hurting him on the feet. Cody had the better exchanges on the feet. He was a little bit too fast for him, a little bit too much powerful. Figgy doesn't like being hit like he used to be, So that's that. He doesn't have the same durability. He doesn't take damage as well. And he has bad cardio. Like, if that's a high-paced fight, he's going to slow down in round 3. And I don't think he's going to finish Vera. So I think Chito win round 3 at a high clip. I think he's live to finish. I give him almost all the finishing upside. He's the natural 135er. He's bigger. He's longer. And, he just took a lot of damage in his last fight against O'Malley, losing the title fight. So how he's going to bounce back from that. So that's that. But, I think he win round 3. I think he's live to finish. But then it's like, my biggest worry here is the wrestling upside of Figueiredo, but it's kind of hard to cap the wrestling aspect because I think he's going to have wrestling success. I think he could be. Yeah, with Khabib, but he didn't spend his full camp there. He just went with Khabib a little bit. I don't think it's going to change how he fight. I don't think it's going to change his cardio. The guy is not going to be able to wrestle for 15 minutes. He's just not going to be able to do that. But I think he's going to have wrestling success. But again, Chito is big. And Chito takedown defense is not awful. It's decent. It's not the best, but it's
70%. It's 70%.
Yeah, it's decent. I think Figgy could take him down, but I don't see him controlling Vera for just 15 minutes. I don't think it's likely that he finish him. So with that being said, you have a guy who's bigger, who's younger, who has more finishing upside, who's going to win round 3, who has better cardio, who's more durable at plus money. So give me Chito Vera. But yeah, would I be surprised if Figueiredo win and control him and just have success with takedowns? No, I think his most likely path is a decision. You're probably going to talk about that, but I think the line's awful for it. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So I played an awful line. I gave out an awful line. I played Figgy by decision minus 135, and now his money line is minus 135. So that feels great. I don't think there's much finishing upside. I think both guys are pretty durable. I don't really see anyone getting finished here. I kind of like you said, I'm kind of banking on. I saw realistically, Vera loses round 1 at a very high clip. Figgy slows down in round 3. I think it comes down to the grappling. If Figgy grapples him for rounds 1 and 2, it's going to be an onslaught from Vera in round 3, trying to go for the finish, like you said. So I think a round 3 Vera finish is possibly in the cards. But I don't know. I think if Figgy can win round 1 and round 2 comfortably, he can kind of glide out to a decision here. That's
I have a
great bet to bet on. What do you got? What's up?
If Figgy doesn't have wrestling success, how do you line the fight?
Not great. Not great, and it progressively gets worse. I'd probably make honestly, Vera might be the slight favorite if it's just on the feet.
Yeah, I agree. I think Figgy is very good. Don't get me wrong. He hits very hard himself.
He's low volume.
Yeah, he's low volume. He's not a good minute winner. Vera is not a good minute winner. Like you said, you lose round 1 on a high clip, but Figgy lose round 1 also if he doesn't wrestle. It's going to be a toss-up round. Yeah. And then you have one side who's plus money who can dominate round 3 if he doesn't if
Yep.
he's not on his back. So yeah, and he fought the way better people at 135, so it just
Definitely.
yeah, and he's younger.
And yeah, it's crazy to know. It's crazy when you look at Chito Vera being 31 after we've seen how much brutally. It's crazy how badly he gets his ass kicked sometimes, but he looks perfectly fine. And like I was in my no. Who did Sugar Sean fight in Miami?
It was Cheeto.
Cheeto, yes. I was gonna say I heard that live, that knee on the chin. I was there live, and
Right.
it was like the craziest thing you've ever seen. It was like I don't even know how to explain it. It was just like, and he didn't even look phased by it. I don't know how, but I don't know. Yeah, it's in hindsight. I was honestly a few days after placing that bet, I was kind of thinking like, oh well, the odds are still there. I could always hedge out. I'm gonna ride with it. I hope he gets a grappling clinic going on for Figgy. If not, we'll see where we go. Next fight: Sharaputdin versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Shara Bullet is. I am looking at the wrong card. 1 second. Shara Bullet minus 225 to minus 260. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk is plus 190 to plus 215. There's going to be a day to fade this guy, Shara Bullet. We saw if he was fighting any other guy at 185 that wasn't Chikoli, he probably would have lost that fight. I don't know. Shara Bullet, he's a lot of flashy kicks, stuff like that. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, vicious ground and pound, very good hands, knockout power. I mean, we watched him hurt Holland before getting armbarred. People are saying, "Oh my God, his arm in the armbar." His arm was fine after the armbar. He stood up and was like, "Dude, I didn't tap. Why'd you call the fight?" I don't know how. It was pretty deep, but he seemed fine with it. It wasn't his power hand either way. And Oleksiejczuk, if he gets a takedown and starts ground and pound, it's going to be bad for Shara. If Mikhail Bridges gets this in boxing distance and he gets him up against the cage and it's in the clinch, it looks bad for Shara. It looks good for him where, we've seen Mikhail, he's a little susceptible to kicks and he's a little soft in the midsection. So if he throws those body kicks, those teep kicks, all those crazy kicks, he may get the finish there. I know there was some comment circulation around of saying Mikhail would be like, if I lose this fight, I'm done. If I win, I don't know. But I don't know. Plus 200. I bet on Shara his first fight in the UFC. I was big on him as a prospect. Clearly, I've learned over time that he wasn't as good as I thought he was. And I don't know. I'm going to keep fading the guy. I'll be here when he loses. So hopefully this is the spot, though. I like the spot on Mikhail here. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm good at betting both guys. I bet all in ITD, all in sub. I bet Borao by sub. I bet Borao money line. I bet Mikel Pereira pretty big against Oleksiejczuk. And who else? Let me just check. For Shara Bullet, I've never faded him, I don't think. Let me just confirm. Yeah, so I bet on Shara Bullet against Bruno Silva, won it. And I had
two.
So yeah, and I lost on the under there, but yeah, he's good. His kick's pretty good. He's fast. He has power, but his grappling is not there. He's gonna get exposed in the grappling sooner than later. Is that the fight? I don't think so. But what does Mikkel struggle with every fight? He struggle against good grapplers. That's his weaknesses. They're both gonna have the fight that they want. Who's the better boxer? Easy, that's Mikkel. Who has more power? Oh, it's close, but I think Mikkel is power.
Definitely has more power. I think Mikhail has more power, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, Nico was knocking these people out at 205, and he has a lot of knockout on his resume. Mikkel has that dog in him. Remember the Chidi fight? I think it could look similar to the Chidi fight because Shara, very good kicks. He could hurt him. He could hurt him to the body. And yeah, I think Mikkel could also hurt him. I think Shara's going to win the minute at distance with the kicks, and I think Mikkel is going to pressure him, get on the inside, and then he could crack him with the boxing. We've seen Shara in some fights. The Chokoli fight, for example, he didn't look as good as what people would thought that he would look like. So I think Mikkel here in the boxing with the power, with the pressure, I think he could get to him. I think he could knock him out. I think he could potentially win a decision also. It's hard to fade these guys fighting, like I said, undefeated Russian in Abu Dhabi. But I think Mikal's pretty live. I think the line is disrespectful with what he's done. But also, he's not locked in his career 100%. You know, the guy's kind of training with his friends. He's not fully into MMA, so that's that. But he's plus 200. So
Yeah,
I think Mikal's the side here.
I agree. All right, main event: Corey Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Corey Sandhagen plus 250 to plus 260. Umar Nurmagomedov minus 300 to minus 325. Is the line too wide for the Sandman? Are we getting generational wealth value on Corey Sandhagen, the biggest step up and competition increase for Umar Nurmagomedov? Or is Umar going to get a wrestling game plan going, find the back of Sandhagen and submit him? What do you think, Dravhy?
That's a good fight. I'm excited for this one. Very high level fight. I like Umar. I think he's pretty good, but that's a massive step up in competition. And how many times do we see these people having a big step up in competition and losing, and then maybe coming back after that? I think that's a fight he could lose. Sandhagen, you know, he's a proven top 5 bantamweight for a long time. The guy is Sandhagen's the better striker, and he has very tricky footwork and movements to deal with. And in the big cage, I think it could cause problems to Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov is a pretty good striker himself. That's impressive. Like, he has speed, he has kicks. I don't think Sandhagen's just going to wash him on the feet. I think it's competitive, but I think he's slightly the better striker. He fought the much better competition. He has the better movement, footwork, like I just said. And then he's been working very hard on the grappling and the wrestling for these last few years, and the guy's improving. He has good fight IQ, and he's just a very good all-around fighter. So I don't really think Umar's going to finish him, to be honest. I think his most likely path to victory is a decision. But then that's his massive step up, like I said, but that's also his first 5 rounders. We have seen Corey go 5 rounds a lot of time against good people, losing some, winning some. And yeah, Corey's always live for like a flying knee or something. He's live for a knockout. And in a decision, it's going to be close. So that's a banger of a fight. I don't understand the line, to be honest. I don't know how you can get to Umar at minus 300. He has not been tested at this level. He didn't fight 5 rounds before. We don't know much about his chin. Remember, he got cracked badly last fight, you know. So, and we don't know about his cardio for 5 rounds. So yes, and I think Sandhagen is the side here. I think the line is disrespectful again.
Yeah, I'm completely here with you. I'm just watching the line, waiting, because this is another fight that I'm gonna play 1 unit on Corey Sandhagen. It's just a matter of when. I want to see how much wider this line could get. I could be greedy. I didn't check what is the spread on this fight. It's probably pretty good, right? For plus 5.5. It's probably like minus something. It's probably not that good for us.
It's plus 100.
Oh, the Dumas.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Bet the money line.
Yeah, I'm betting the money line. I was gonna say it's also they made it plus 100 for Bilal too, and Bilal won every round almost, or maybe 4-1. But yeah, I think Corey's gonna win on the feet here. I think he'll have no problem in the striking department. He's fought guys like him. I like the fact that he's doing camp with Trevor Whitman.
Yeah,
it's literally like 2 of the smartest dudes in the room together. Both like, I think the Sandman's like he's very smart introspectively. He likes thinking about the fight game, coaching the fight game, and also he's pretty hard on himself and like reflects on what he does. And I think Trevor Whitman being a mind to watch from the third party is also great. We've seen Corey increase his offensive wrestling. He's mentioned, you know, since getting subbed by Aljo, he's worked a lot on his BJJ and his wrestling. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to get you Dagestani level wrestling, but I mean, if we see him stop the takedowns that he needs to and maybe get the takedown of himself, it could be a different fight. And like you said, this guy, Umar, has never been 5 rounds. Don't get me wrong. Umar could be one of those guys that ends up being one of the greats, but at plus 260, no problem finding out if it's true or not. I think Corey Sandhagen's inside here for just playing a number. All right, guys, that's the show. We're going to do a quick BTL parlay for you guys. You ready to do the BTL parlay?
Yeah, Key just gave out the line that he liked and he won. So Key we're still gonna do a 3 legs parlay for this one. So Key leg is Azamat Murzakanov at minus 192.
All right.
My line's gonna be the over 2.5 for Vucenic and Guram at minus 185.
And I'm gonna do Gaziev money line. I'm gonna do Gaziev money line.
All right, it's minus 220. So Murzakanov minus 192. over 2.5 for Guram, minus 185, and then Gaziev minus 220. The parlay gives you plus 241. It's not as juicy as some of these are normally, but yeah, I think we catch this one. So
I think we've hit one before that was also plus 241.
That's a sign, bro. So let's get it.
All right, guys, that's the sign. Again, I'm your host. You can join my Telegram. Picks are always free. I'm going to finish up my slate between today and tomorrow. Get all those picks out to you guys and enjoy. Dravhy, what do you got going on?
Yeah, we're gonna bounce back. I had a tough week last week, so we're gonna bounce back with the UFC, and also there's a lot of regional this week. I'm gonna tape some of them tonight, so there's gonna be the bet's gonna be posted on the Duck Club with the breakdowns probably at the end of the week. So yeah, you can find my Twitter as always, Dravhy_ on Twitter. You have the Duck Club link in the bio with the Bet MMA tips. If you want to just buy the card, you just buy one card. You can also do that. And last thing, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's always a pleasure to do the show with you, Peg. So we're gonna be back next week again, and yeah, let's get it.
We'll be back, guys. Good luck. Enjoy Abu Dhabi. It's a day card. Don't forget to wake up early. Peace.